Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for July the 3rd, 2020. How could I not realize it's July? We are on the eve of the 4th of July, Independence Day. I hope everybody has a safe and as fun of a weekend as possible. Shout out to the chat room for watching live and contributing. I very much appreciate it. And thank you to everybody watching this on demand as well. Let's go ahead and get started with this recap. We kicked off the show with Michael Cole interviewing Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle came out. There was a recap of when he beat AJ Styles the other week. And Michael Cole talked to Riddle. Riddle said, "Bro, it's awesome to be called up." He said he's the love child of a lot of work and a lot of dreams. Am I the only one that heard this promo and felt like he is, in fact, the modern day Rob Van Dam? Like, they talk almost the same exact way, and their promos sound very similar to me. Maybe it's just because it's two guys that are potheads. I don't know, but Riddle cut this promo, and Michael Cole was asking Riddle about why Riddle wrestles in his bare feet. Riddle told this story about how he would go in this indoor pool and then go out in the snow, go back and forth. He got frostbite, and it taught him a lesson that he could lose everything in a moment, and he does not wear shoes because every time he puts on shoes, it gives him that burning sensation of what happened to him as a kid. Interesting. We had Baron Corbin come out, and he was sick and tired of hearing about Matt Riddle and his feet. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, RVD versus Matt Riddle in a bong on a pole match. I'll tell you what, if both of them were working for the same company with Vince Russo, we might have gotten something like that. Would not have surprised me, and I'm sure Virtue will get on my case for making a Vince Russo joke, but hey, whatever. Speaking of Virtue, just a quick plug for tomorrow night, 4th of July, if you're watching this on the 4th, and if you're watching after the 4th, you missed it, but 4th of July, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have a big party since we're stuck at home. We're going to do a special edition of the No DQ review. It is going to be the Bash Fest. We are going to bash a lot of things. We are going to shoot, tell it like it is. Make sure you guys tune in. Tell a friend. Make some hot dogs. Barbecue some food. And come join us 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific for a special edition of the No DQ review. Now, back to SmackDown. Corbin said that he was upset about what Riddle did to him on last week's show when Riddle beat him up. Corbin saw that as a sign of disrespect and said that nobody wants Riddle there and he's going to put Riddle in his place. Riddle was like, let's go, bro. Corbin said not so fast. Riddle would have to wait. And we had Corbin introduce Riddle's opponent for the evening, John Morrison. And I'll tell you what, this was better than Riddle versus Baron Corbin would have been. It should be opposite. We should have King Corbin versus Matt Riddle on SmackDown and build up to Matt Riddle versus John Morrison on pay-per-view. I'm just throwing that out there. I will be shocked if Baron Corbin versus Matt Riddle is a better match than this SmackDown match with John Morrison and Matt Riddle. Johnny Boy with a $5 super chat says, Riddle has been a breath of fresh air. Absolutely. It's nice to have a fresh face on SmackDown. And this match was badass. I thought this was a pay-per-view quality match. between these guys. They have great chemistry, and I feel like WWE is going to, like they do with every other match, they're going to probably run this match like half a dozen times over the next 6 months. I hope we wait a while. Give us like 3 months before we do this match again so it doesn't get burned out. Ha ha ha. But yeah, this was a great match, and I love that spinning slam that Morrison did to Riddle. They just worked so well together. Match was a lot of fun. You had Baron Corbin out there on commentary, and at one point Riddle grabbed his flip-flop and threw it, or actually hit Corbin in the face with it. TGS with a $2 super chat says, great shirt. Remember Kurt Angle thrown off the ledge? Are you talking about like 2004 when Kurt Angle was the GM? I think that's what you're referencing, TGS, but I'm not sure. And I'm not sure what that has to do with this match, but you're known for your off-topic comments. The match continued, and we had The Miz out there at ringside. Morrison managed to roll up Riddle due to a distraction from Corbin, but Riddle kicked out, and then Riddle did his own roll-up to beat John Morrison. So it was not a decisive win for Riddle because it was a roll-up. So you can always build up another match with these guys, and they should definitely do another match. But I hope they don't do another one like in 2 weeks or something where they just start running it into the ground. Give us some time, some breathing room. Do the stupid match with Corbin. But I'm saying right now, I do not think Riddle and Corbin will top this match. If they do, then I will apologize. I will take back what I said. But I don't think it's going to happen. And after the match was over, AJ Styles attacked Matt Riddle from behind. And then Drew Gulak attacked AJ, and that set us up for our next match, which was AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak, which was originally supposed to take place on last week's show. And backstage, Morrison was very angry about his loss. Corbin said that the legs would be cut under Riddle's career. We'll see about that. We had Styles versus Gulak for the Intercontinental Championship. Gulak had these patriotic tights. He had his wrist taped up, and the name Havoc was written on it. Not Johnny Havoc, but rather Danny Havoc, who passed away recently. Former wrestler, CCW star. Him and Gulak wrestled on the Indies. This was a good match, technically. It was very technically sound, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. It did not wow me like Riddle and Morrison. Riddle and Morrison was way flashier, and I know a lot of people like Gulak's style, and he's a really good wrestler and all that, but man, it's just hard for me to get into his matches. He just doesn't have that charisma, that top-level superstar charisma. He's just a wrestler. We had Daniel Bryan via Zoom coming in at certain points during the match, talking about Gulak, putting him over and all that stuff. Styles, after a back-and-forth match, did pick up the victory with the Phenomenal Forearm. Again, it was good. I thought it was a very good match, but it did not hold my attention like the Matt Riddle and John Morrison match. We had Bayley and Sasha Banks come out for a celebration because why not? They've been on every show, and I think their streak has continued. I cannot remember the last SmackDown that Bayley and Sasha missed. I believe they have been on every single SmackDown since the pandemic began. They've been on some episodes of Raw. They've been on NXT. They're all over the place, and I fear they're going to end up like Charlotte, becoming overexposed, but they've been doing a great job overall. This segment, I had some mixed feelings about it. I felt like they were acting too much like the Iconics. with their promo. I mean, they seem to be having a lot of fun. They're coming into their own with the gimmick, but I could not help but think of the Iconics when they were doing this promo. They were talking about how they've gone through everybody, the Empress of yesterday, Asuka, and then Bayley said that The Undertaker called her up and she started doing an impression of The Undertaker. Apparently he called her Bayley Dose Straps. Then there was a video package, a tribute to the two of them. And then after the video package was shown, they each did the thank you, Bayley, thank you, Sasha, back and forth until Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross came out and did a little bit of comedy, reading off these cue cards with their accolades, but they were very comedic in nature, or at least they were supposed to be. Nikki then got serious and talked about how she knows she has the heart to win the championship from Bayley, the SmackDown Women's title, at the Extreme Rules Horror Show pay-per-view. Bayley basically laughed her ass off. Somebody in the chat room brought up how this also kind of felt like a female version of DX. And when Bayley started laughing at her, it definitely gave me that Shawn Michaels / Triple H vibe, you know, just being a cocky, arrogant bastard. Alexa slapped Bayley, and then Sasha for once. Usually it's Bayley making matches for Sasha. Sasha made a match, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Sasha would interfere during the match, and then Nikki went after Sasha, and then Bayley came up by the ropes and started yelling at Nikki. Nikki lost her cool and punched Bayley to lead to a disqualification. This should be the opposite. It's dumb babyface, but the role is reversed. The babyface is getting involved in punching the competitor, causing a DQ, and the distraction did not work. Bayley wins the match here by DQ. But anyways, Nikki ran off Bayley and Alexa's music played. So there you go. That's the latest setup heading into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. We had a Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt video package to hype up their swamp match. And next week, there will be a replay of the Money in the Bank match. I guess WWE still is having trouble getting people on the show, or maybe they just feel like, hey, it's an easy way to fill some time and the viewership has been good for the replays. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's just because I have the WWE Network, but it's like, if I want to see that match again, I'll just go on the network and watch it. I suppose there are casual fans out there that don't have the network and they will watch this. Maybe those people over 50, who knows? But I just know in my case, I'm like, I can go watch it on the network. Why do I need to see it on SmackDown? I want some first run content, but that's just me personally. I mean, the numbers were good for that Boneyard match replay, so I guess that's WWE's attitude about it. We had Kofi Kingston versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and before the match, Big E took his jacket and threw it at Michael Cole. Direct hit. Cesaro was at ringside. Big E was at ringside, and Cesaro interfered in the match, and then both of them ended up in the backstage area. It was down to just one-on-one, no distractions. Match was good, but again, did not hold my attention like Matt Riddle and Morrison. And maybe it was because I figured Kofi would win, but guess what? He did not win. Nakamura hit the running knee, or I wasn't sure if it was the running knee or Kinshasa. Michael Cole called it the running knee. It kind of looked like, I guess, a running knee, but I'm not even sure what the difference is, but I'm sure somebody in the chat room can correct me on that one. Running knee, running foot, whatever. And Nakamura won. I was like, whoa, did not expect that. After the match, Cesaro came back down to ringside and he pulled a table from under the ring. Big E came back out, made the save, ran off Cesaro and Shin. And I guess we're getting a tables match now. This was supposed to be the setup for it, but man, this just feels lazy. You know, you got Extreme Rules coming out. Cesaro pulls out a table completely randomly, and now we're going to get a tables match at the pay-per-view. Whatever. Then we had our final segment of the evening, which was a toast to Jeff Hardy. But Sheamus did not come out for this. Jeff Hardy came out for his own mockery that Sheamus was setting up. Immediately, I'm like, this is weird. Why is Jeff Hardy coming out to even acknowledge this monstrosity? But there's a reason, because Sheamus was not there. Sheamus was on the big screen from his home, apparently. And I'm sure people will speculate on this. 2 weeks now, Sheamus has not been at the Performance Center. I wonder why. Sheamus read a poem to Jeff Hardy and said the answer to Jeff's problems, it's in one of the bottles. There were a bunch of bottles in the ring. There was a bartender there. And Sheamus said, never change, you beautiful junkie. Jeff was very angry. He said that Sheamus is the sickest person he's ever met. How could Sheamus take advantage of people like Jeff that have screwed up and have their demons? The bartender then offered Jeff a drink, and you guys knew where this was going. Jeff poured it over the head of the bartender, took a bottle and broke the bottle over the bartender's head, gave the bartender a swanton bomb, and that was SmackDown. Segment was pretty cringy in my opinion. This show should have ended, and I keep praising it because it was the best thing on the show to me by far. Riddle and Morrison should have closed this show. Plus, I prefer, you guys know this if you've been following the live streams, I prefer when segments are split up. I don't like promo, match, promo, match. It just makes the show feel longer for me personally. I would rather do promo, do the match way later at the end. Break it up. And yeah, I think the best thing should be saved for the end, which in my opinion was that Riddle match. The legendary Mike B with a $3 super chat sends a how's it going sticker. Going good, Mike B. Thank you very much for the super chat. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, what was the greatest tables match of all time? How about that one where the Big Show stepped on the table and lost? I'm kidding. That's not the best tables match of all time. Royal Rumble 2000. The Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys. That one is my pick. If I had to pick a tables match. That one, that entire Rumble pay-per-view was fantastic. But that match was really badass. So that's got to be my pick right there. That's the first one that I thought of, was that Rumble match. Greg is like, good shout. He said the same exact thing. I said that before I saw his comment. So let's go ahead and do the letter grade for SmackDown. I'm leaning B-, C+, and maybe I'm being a little too harsh, but I'm going C+. There was some good stuff on this show, but also at times it just did not hold my attention very much, and the main segment was kind of like, eh. TW with a C+. Thera Metal Hero gives it, or the Rap Metal Hero gives it a C. Calvin Bowman with a B-. Legendary Mike B with a B+. Ace and his Familia Vlogs with a B+. Shaddy Snake with a C+. Kev with a C+. Michael Wayne with a B-. Dr. NXT Scorpio with a C because of Morrison and Riddle, and Greg with a solid B+, CC Drink with a B-. So a lot of B's and C's it looks like for this week's SmackDown. Not seeing any A's in here, not seeing any D's either. So all in all, it was a good show, but I don't know if I would go into the really good or great category for it. It was all right. And another person who was not on this show was Otis. 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Money in the Bank, Vince's new favorite character, Otis, nowhere to be found. Again, I think people will speculate on it. Forgotten Sons have been forgotten about. They haven't been on in weeks, and nobody cares about them. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, would you be afraid if Lars Sullivan came for you? Yeah, I would be. The guy is a freak. We've never seen a freak like him before. I would not mind seeing him come back, even though he's got a lot of skeletons in the closet and a lot of people don't like what he's done in his personal life. But I enjoyed the character. I thought Lars Sullivan had some potential. So that's SmackDown, everybody. One more plug for the No DQ review number 102, the Bash Fest. We're going to bash some stuff. We're going to talk a lot of wrestling. We're going to celebrate 4th of July as only we can. So tune in, 4th of July, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. And if you're watching this for some reason after the 4th of July, watch the replay. Watch it on demand. Check it out. I'll be posting another No DQ&A video on Sunday at 7 Eastern. Adrian with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Adrian. He says, was Hulk Hogan masquerading as a heel during his WWF days? Heel tactics like eye gouging, back scratching, and lusting after Elizabeth. Well, if you ask Randy Savage, that was definitely the case, or Jesse Ventura, or Bobby Heenan. A lot of times, Hogan would have something done to him, somebody attacking him or doing something, doing bad things, and Hogan was just like, hey, what goes around comes around, brother. So a lot of times it was just Hogan giving the bad guy what he had coming to him. That's how I always saw it. But yeah, Hogan did do a lot of that stuff, and Jesse Ventura was always very quick to call him out on it, which was great. And Bobby Heenan too. And when Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach 96, Bobby Heenan, of course, was, I knew it. This is what I've been saying all these years about Hogan. Good times, man. Good times. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Be safe. Stay positive. Enjoy your weekend. And I hope to see you guys in the chat room for the No DQ Review 102, the Bash Fest. Tell a friend. Spread the word. And I will see you guys next time.